Welcome. This is Zangler, the Tesla Semi Advocate, and it's been 8 days since my last drone flight at the Giga Semi factory construction site. It's Saturday, December 21st, a beautiful morning, and when I got there, when I arrived, the first thing I saw was that this giant door on the north side was open, so I thought I'd go in there and see what we could see. Spoiler alert, we don't get to see much. But you will notice that that door in the building is so big that that excavator looks like it would fit through the door. And that's a big door. There's a lot to look at here. One of the things I want to check on was the status of the roof insulation and waterproof membrane. I wanted to see what we could see in terms of last Wednesday's event that Dan Priestley shared, where they signed the final beam that was installed at the north, I should say, at the southeast corner of the building. It was signed by many of the employees, and Dan put a post about that. Dan Priestley put a post about that, and he did confirm. The third thing I really want to see and take a look at and see what the progress is the stamping building, section G. He confirmed that is the stamping building, and he also mentioned that it was purposely on a different time schedule. Really curious about that. The one thought I had about that is that maybe they'll start initial construction, or I should say the production line, with the same supplier parts that are currently used for the pilot production line. I don't know, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but there could be a point to that where they get the line going with the supplier parts, and then simultaneously they start stamping out their own frames and their own body panels, and then they can do, they can compare them, do quality control, and get the rest of the line running with supplier parts. And it is one reason why it would make sense to have this stamping building come so much later. This is a very low level flight, and the one thing I want to point out is that I did not leave anything on the cutting room floor today. If you're watching this on YouTube, there's a full 21 minutes of video, and I'll probably have to break it into two for the other social media site, X, that I generally post these videos on. Those are the propane tanks that I'm sure they're using to heat the inside of the building. One thing, if you think back to the open door and the original opening scene, it's dark. It's dark in there. I didn't see any lighting. It's probably about 8:30 in the morning when I started the flight, and probably goes until about 9:30, or at least 8, around that time. So here's a beautiful northern Nevada view of the entire Giga Semi factory with Legacy Giga Nevada in the background. They're working on the fourth section in terms of putting on the insulation and roof panels. They've only got 2 left, and it takes 10 trucks with 10 pallets of insulation for each section. We are now going from north to south along the western perimeter of the building. Give you a little perspective on what a beautiful day it is. Cool, crisp, high Nevada desert weather, which actually doesn't, we are in a rain shadow here, so there's a lot of dry days in the winter, dry, sunny days. And one of the things I noticed about it is they've put in a lot of roads, and that roadway leads to another set of double giant doors. And now here is the stamping section and the giant foundation and footings they're digging. And it's just a lot of fascinating work. I think, and I don't know, I'm no expert on this, but I think that where those workers are standing will stay open. From what I understand, you need access to the under part of stamping machines. So it looks like they're building walls of foundation and then a lot of open areas where they can get under the stamping machines. Certainly welcome comments from viewers who are more knowledgeable and have more experience with foundations and footings for stamping machines. I recognize that in the background, that those blue wall panels are interior walls. They remind me of things we saw at Giga, Texas for interior walls. So that there will be that hard separation between the stamping section G, and that section F. A lot of road work is being done. If you notice, as we see all around the building, there's a lot of road work being done. We are getting close to the southwest corner where the beam signing event took place last Wednesday. And as of this point, I don't know what we're going to see, but I'm going to do my best to get a good look at it. One of the other things that was on my objective for today's flight is to see how much of this northeastern section C wall panels have been erected, and kind of surprised that there's not more progress. I had expected that wall to be done. Here's another one of the roads leading into one of the giant doors. We are now coming around the northeast corner of the building, and you can see all of the insulation that's been stacked. We missed it in my 8-day absence. Here is the vast majority of the shipping doors, loading doors are along this side of the building. I know from early in December, January, and February, they took a lot of time to put in infrastructure, including stormwater management pipes, right along here. So some of this work that you see them digging, I think, is connecting into that drainage. And the flag is blowing in the wind. We're going to fly over the building from the northwest to the southeast. You can see how they connect each of the independent buildings with these caps. Corrugated steel that has not yet been covered with the insulation and waterproof membrane. That building in the top right is where Dan Priestley's post showed all of the workers lined up, showing the watershed event of putting up the final beam. And they worked in partnership with BZI and used their techniques. That's the building I'm talking about right there. And there's a warehouse on wheels. And they're doing a lot of work up there, which I think might be a new warehouse on wheels for the semi factory. Here we go. Here is the final beams that were put up. They were painted red. And like I said, I didn't cut anything out, even though I thought this, not exactly sure how exciting some of these pictures are, but decided to leave everything in. The BZI logo, and I think on the back of these two panels are the signatures. That is a sky brace, part of the BZI system of holding a building up until it has structural stability, and I think they'll be taking those down pretty soon. After a battery change, we come back over to the Section G stamping machine excavation, and let's go check out the Big Dog Tesla Semi and see what's going on with it. That right there is a retention pond. I believe you can see the culvert pipes coming through the road. That's probably going to be a retention pond. Like I said, it is a rain shadow here, but on occasion we get deluge rainfall. I wanted to get a really good look at what's going on here at Section G, where the stamping machines are going to go. I think it's safe to say this is the most complicated and most technical section of the building, even though we did see a lot of fairly deep foundations on the main 6 sections. This is a whole different order of magnitude in terms of depth of the foundation digging and the technical aspects going into it. Now let's go in and check out the big dog Tesla Semi. So we're getting a really good look, and you can see that the Easter egg is gone. Don't know if it was removed or if it was just blown off with some of the high winds that we experience frequently. This area to the right, in between Legacy Giga Nevada and the Giga Semi, they've been doing a lot of work, and you see they're bringing in fill dirt. I'm not exactly sure what that's going to be, but it could be an additional warehouse on wheels to serve the semi factory, or it could be potentially a parking area for the 140 semis a day that are going to come off of this production line in 2026. Another look around at the beauty of northern Nevada. As is customary, at the end of the video, I'll include both renderings, both the one where you can see the building from the northwest corner, and then I have also taken to including the rendering from the south corner. It doesn't have the resolution, but it shows what the stamping building is going to look like, and therefore I feel like it's important to keep track on that and compare it to what we're seeing on the ground. That is the main entrance there on the left. And as I flew over to this corner of the property, I saw that Tesla Semi. And this is the return flight to the drone takeoff and landing location. Just another really pretty view in my estimation. And that little dark spot is my Tesla Model S drone support vehicle. You'll note that on the left, they're starting to build what they're calling these twin projects. Here is the rendering from the northwest, and then the rendering from the south. Thank you, and I hope to see you again.